guys, how's it going? So today I'm planting a white pillar Rosa Sharon in our garden. Now it's not going up here, it's actually going in our back formal garden, but it's full sun back there, which this plant will love, but it makes it harder to show you the detail of the plant. The really unique thing about the white pillar that makes it different from other Rosa Sharons is its growth habit. So it grows in a really tight, tall column. It can get anywhere from 10 to 16 feet tall and stays 2 to 3 feet wide. Like, I almost can't even envision what that's going to look like in my landscape to see a Rosa Sharon actually growing like that, which makes it a really interesting choice if you need to hedge something like a privacy screen, or if you need a barrier between you and something else or whatever, or if you're trying to hide something but you don't have a lot of space to do it. This is a really good option. It's kind of like the fine line buckthorn. I've got a few of those that I'm going to be planting, and those stay nice and narrow. It's just nice to have a few different options, but this one has really pretty flowers that go along with it too. So these, it's kind of early-ish in the morning, so they haven't opened all the way, but you can see they're starting. They're a semi-double pure white flower, which I love. You can see the buds here, and this whole plant really is budded up in quite a few different places. And we've got lots of buds and blooms up here toward the top, and you can kind of see, based on just what it looks like in its container, how it's going to grow. It is a sister to another variety called purple pillar, which has more vibrant color, it's like a kind of a lavender pinkish purple with more of a deep pinkish red center. Super bad at explaining it, but it's a little bit more kind of showy in terms of color. But where I'm going to be putting this, it's going between a black lace elderberry and a kind of a brighter orangey red rose. So I think it'll be a really peaceful, calm looking plant. So Rosa Sharon like full sun, like as much sun as you can give them through the day. Typically, like a full sun plant is anything 6 to 8 hours plus of sun. I think if you can find a spot that gets all day sun, you'd have even happier plant. They are a zone 5 through 9 and resistant to deer, and they're one of the last things to break dormancy in the spring. So everything else will have new fresh leaves, and this one will still look like a bunch of sticks. But you just have to be patient with this one. It just comes out later, and then it blooms summer through fall. So you get a beautiful show of color, you know, while some of your other perennials are kind of in their midsummer lull, and then they kind of come back into bloom again, and then they're done for the season. This one kind of just blooms that entire time. I've actually got a blue chiffon Rosa Sharon in a tree form near where this one is going, so I'll show that to you when we get back there. So I think we should just head back and I'll show you where it's gonna go. We're in the back garden now, and I think this is the space where this plant will look really nice. In between the black lace elderberry, which grows enormous every year, I cut it back to about this high every single fall, and then it puts on this much growth. And then there's a climbing rose here, Little Miss Sunshine Caryopteris that the honeybees are just all over right now. There's a tower elderberry, butterfly bush, but I think this will look good just growing right up among these lilies. Like maybe right in here. I'll have to stand back and see if it's evenly spaced. But to have a really strong pillar-shaped plant right here to kind of contrast the fluffiness of everything going on around it, I think that'll look really nice. Plus the white with the dark colored leaves, perfect contrast. Let me show you the other Rosa Sharon. It's right down here. So this is the blue chiffon. You can see it's the standard or tree form there. And look at the color of these blooms. Oh, these blooms are a lot more open back here. So beautiful, so full of bud. And this one just blooms its head off all the way through the fall. It's done really well back here. That's why I think this Rosa Sharon will also do really well. All right, so Aaron and I are gonna switch positions here. I'm gonna take the camera while he uses the big auger to dig a hole for me. I will be using several different things in the area. Of course, the Biotone starter fertilizer, and then a couple other amendments. I've got the soil acidifier here, as well as some land and sea compost, which is more of an acid-based compost. And the reason why I'm adding these in as well is because we have such high pH soil, it's binding up nutrients, particularly iron, which means we're seeing a lot of chlorosis issues in our plants. Rosa Sharon's being very much so one of those. We're seeing that in other Rosa Sharons in our garden. So this is just kind of a preventative measure. Whenever we put something new in the ground, we're going to try really adding in a lot of this more acid-based stuff to help bring down the pH, so we hopefully don't deal with that problem. So I'm not necessarily advocating that everybody needs to use this, but it's just something that we're doing for our particular soil type. All right, let's plant, Aaron. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is go in and remove some of that soil, the native soil first. So I'm going to grab this. Oh, you didn't hit the drip tube. Good job, Erin. It runs right almost through the area where we wanted this plant to go. Look at this. And I'm just removing some of the soil to make room for some of the compost. Could almost use this as a mulch.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? Just get a bunch of land and sea and mulch our whole property with it. Okay. Root system looks really good, doesn't need to be teased. And that's a perfect size hole, Erin. How does it look? Is it centered?
Yeah, let's
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna backfill the hole now. So when Erin dug the hole, we didn't bother to move any of the lilies. So there's a few little like roots that I could, I guess, replant, but they're so prolific. We'll probably just go dump this on the new property. Maybe the lilies will come up there. Oh, that looks so pretty. Okay, let me go grab the hose, get it watered in. This ground is just sucking in the moisture right now. Perfect. So of course, when you're planting things closer to fall, you want to make sure you have a minimum of 6 weeks before your first really hard frost, which is anything between like 28 and down. I think a light frost is 28 to 32, kind of that range, because you want to let it have a chance to establish itself. I see a ladybug on it. That totally distracted me. Oh, it's looking for food. It's not going to find it on that plant. I know where I could put it where there is some food though. And then of course we'll be mindful about keeping the root system moist. You know, the nighttime temperatures are pretty cool here now. We just had earlier this week it was 39 for 2 nights. Right now we're pretty much in the mid 40s at night, so we won't have to water this quite as much as we would if we planted this in the beginning of the season and it was trying to make it through all that really intense heat. But it's still something you want to be mindful of, and even through the winter, if you have a super dry, windy winter, for anything that's newly planted, it's not a bad idea to run out and just splash a little extra water on it from time to time, just to make sure that the root ball doesn't completely dry out. So anyway, I think that this was a really good choice for this area. I'm really excited to see it grow. I think it's going to look really impressive back here. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.